Hello, I'm Reverend Karen Davis of First Christian Church. When we think about pictures in our mind of Jesus, oftentimes those pictures are ones of a Jesus that is feeding the multitude, healing the sick, doing those things that are miraculous, calming the sea, perhaps picking up the lost lamb and offering that kindness and compassion, welcoming children to gather around him. We don't often think of a Jesus that might be indifferent, one who might turn those in need away. But that is the type of picture that Mark paints for us in his gospel. In chapter 7, verses 24 through 37, we find a time in which Jesus is healing those who are in need, but there is that bit of friction, that bit of anticipation of what is about to happen. Jesus goes off by himself to find a time to rest, to rejuvenate, and a woman who is in need of having her daughter healed, she goes and seeks out Jesus. So here again we have this conflict that a woman who is a Gentile, a woman approaching a man and asking for something, and one who is considered perhaps to be of a lower economic class. And so we see all of this tension because Jesus is once again encountering the poor, the indigent, and the disabled, and they come to him seeking a message of hope and healing. When the woman first approaches Jesus, he doesn't say no, but he doesn't say yes. He gives her a bit of an uncertain response, and she comes right back at him, persistent, not willing to take no for an answer, and ultimately he rewards her faith and her persistence, and her daughter is healed. But in this story, we are reminded that there are those in our midst who are often ostracized, those who are forgotten, those who don't always get attention right away or get the most attention when it's needed. And we are called upon to continue to speak up for them, to speak out for them. We are challenged to continue to listen for those who are asking for something and find a way in which we can respond to their needs. We find in this story today an encouragement for us to continue to be persistent. We find ourselves in this time of pandemic when we think that we are waiting. We're waiting for something better, waiting for something different. But it's usually while we're waiting that life is happening. And so we're reminded in this story of Jesus and the healing of this woman's daughter, that it's in the waiting that life happens, that she finds hope and healing with her persistence in never giving up, making the most of every moment. So my encouragement to you is to continue to make the most of every moment, that it's not tomorrow, next week, another time, but it is now, and it is us that need to continue to be persistent, to proclaim and to seek out God's healing, God's hope, and God's wholeness for ourselves and for all God's people. Prior to this passage in Mark 7, verse 19, we find Jesus proclaiming that all food is clean, as there is a debate about what can be eaten. Well, in this story, we find Jesus proclaiming that all people are clean and should be treated as such, that all God's people should be treated with equity and equality. So I invite you to join us Sunday morning at 10:30 for Facebook Live as we continue together to find out how we can be persistent, how we as citizens of the kingdom of God can continue to proclaim God's good news for all people and all places. May God continue to give us wisdom and guidance. May God bless us and lead us forth.